Hi, this is Ijama, and I am the host of the Etsy Conversations podcast. This is a special episode. I'm recording this on Thursday, June 14th. And the reason I'm recording this is because Etsy just made a major announcement. And if you haven't checked your email yet, go and check your emails from Etsy now, because there's a lot more detail in the emails. But I just think this is something that everyone needs to know about. And it's going to affect every single seller. So first of all, and I'm going to summarize what they said. The major announcement is that starting on July 16th, Etsy, for the first time, I think, in all 13 years that it's been in existence. I have not been on Etsy for all 13 years, but ever since I started on Etsy, the transaction fee has always been 3.5%. And starting on July 16th, that is going up to 5%. And but the listing fee is going to stay the same. The transaction fee is also going to be charged on the shipping cost. So not just the price of the item that you're selling, but also on shipping. And so the first thing I did was I did a quick calculation to see if the fee I pay will be any different if I do free shipping and roll the cost of shipping into the price of the items I'm selling, or if it will be the same, whether or not I have a shipping cost separate from the cost of the item. And it pretty much comes out to the same thing according to the calculations I did. My guess, and I don't know, I have not spoken to anyone at Etsy. This is just me thinking it through and trying to figure out for myself what I might want to do, and just trying to process this information, is that I am assuming that charging the fee on shipping might be a way to try and encourage sellers to offer free shipping, which doesn't mean that you don't charge for shipping, but if the percentage taken from shipping will come out to the same thing if you combine it or you separate it, then rolling your shipping cost into the cost of your item and then promoting your listing as having free shipping. I mean, of course, within, a specific designated geographic area, that might look better. Maybe buyers like to see free shipping, even though somehow it's being paid for. I don't know. But that was my first thought, was, well, maybe that's a way to help promote free shipping. The other major announcement is that, and this is so funny because over the last couple of weeks, you might have heard me say previously, not over the last couple of weeks, but in my interviews with other sellers, that I initially started off my online selling career selling on eBay. And I sold on eBay for a while. And then when I discovered Etsy, I kind of phased out my eBay shop and just focused on Etsy. But interestingly enough, over the last couple of weeks, I have been ramping up to reopen my eBay store. And one of the things I said to myself over the last within the last couple of days was, oh, I'm so glad that, on Etsy, it's, the selling on Etsy is really simple, because you just list it, you have your listing fee, and then or your insertion fee, the 20 cents anyway, and then you pay your transaction fee at the end when it sells. And you don't have to worry about what type of shop, if any, that you want on Etsy. And the reason I was thinking that was because with reopening my eBay store, I had to decide if I just want to do the free, just sell 50 items for free, or if I wanted to have a basic eBay store, or I've forgotten what they call the other one, but eBay has different levels of stores that you can open. And I remember specifically thinking to myself, oh, I'm just glad Etsy is so straightforward. I don't need to worry about having, one kind of store over another, over not having a store. And that brings me to the next big announcement that Etsy just made today, is that they are going to start offering 2 new plans. They call them plans, not stores, because on Etsy, well, we already have an Etsy shop or an Etsy store. So they're going to be offering Etsy Plus and Etsy Premium. Etsy Plus is going to go live in July of this year, 2018, and Etsy Premium is going to launch in 2019. I don't know when exactly. And so, back to the fees. Oh, no, I did say that. The transaction fee is going up on July 16th. That's the July 16th of this year. That's the date that the transaction fee goes up. Okay, so back to the different plans on Etsy. So now we're going to have a standard plan, which they say is what we have today. And then there's going to be Etsy Plus. Well, they don't call it Etsy Plus. It just says Plus. I'm assuming it's Etsy Plus. Let me see. Yes, it's Etsy Plus and Etsy Premium. So Etsy Plus, which is going to start in July, is going to give even more tools than what's available now. And then Etsy Premium, which is launching in 2019, is going to have advanced tools. So, again, I just want to reiterate, I haven't talked to anyone at Etsy about this. This is just my personal assessment of this. And I try not to get on a soapbox too much here, but I just want to give you information. And because I'm a seller too, mentally I'm processing all this and trying to figure out what I want to do as well. So what I say is really just what I'm thinking and how I'm thinking I'm going to deal with all this and handle all of it. It's all brand new. So, all right. So standard tools, there's a comparison table, and I'm not going to have show notes for this episode because I just want to get it out there quickly. But if you want more information or you want links to all of this, it's all there on the Etsy website. This is big news. It's easy to find. But if you need specific links, or if you have any questions about anything, there's a forum specifically set up to discuss this on Etsy. If you want to talk to me about it, you can go to convome.com and use the contact form. I will be monitoring that as well. But there will be no show notes for this particular episode because I'm just doing it on the fly. All right, so comparing Etsy Standard, Etsy Plus, and Etsy Premium. So Standard is everything we have now, and everything that you have on the app and pattern, all that. Now, what comes with Plus, which is the mid-level tier, is advanced shop customization. They don't really say specifically what advanced features you're going to get, but something to help make your banner and your featured listings area stand out. Personally, I thought, okay, because my first thought was, okay, maybe I'll upgrade to Plus and the only reason I said that to myself was because I thought, surely if you're paying, then you might get an advantage in search. Now, I went to the Etsy forums, and the admin and the lady who is in charge of seller, what's her title? Let me find it. I don't remember her title, but she's high up in charge of something to do with sellers. Kriti Patel Goyal. Yes, Kriti Patel Goyal. And I don't know exactly what her title is, but she's up there when it comes to sellers and stuff. And the admins are reassuring people in the forums that paid sellers who have paid accounts or paid subscriptions to either Plus or Premium are not going to get an advantage in search. So initially, that was my first thought. And the reason I thought, okay, fine, I will just upgrade to a paid account. But they're saying it's not going to make any difference. So then I thought, okay, so what would I get if I were to pay for at least Plus, which is coming available in July? Premium, not yet, not till next year. So there's the advanced shop customization of your banner. My first thought was, well, on I don't know what other than making a new banner and having, I don't know what the advanced customizations will be, quite frankly. It doesn't say specifically, but if it's anything like being able to change your banner and all whatnot, I'm assuming it's more than that. But that doesn't really seem like something sellers can't do now. We have tools available to customize our banners. Maybe not the featured listing area. We do have the flexibility to change what listings show up in our featured area. So I'm not sure exactly what the advanced customizations will involve. But so that first one didn't really grab me enough to say, okay, it's worth it to pay. The next one is restock requests. That's the next feature that you get with Plus and Premium. And that will let shoppers know when you restock an item that was out of stock when they were trying to buy it. For me, and my shop, that doesn't really affect me because I sell vintage items, and most of them, the vast majority of them, are one of a kind. So the chances that I will find another similar vintage item to sell once it's sold out are very, very slim. So restocking or someone waiting for me to find another vintage item, which has happened before. I've sold something before and the buyer asked if I ever found it again to let them know. But the chances are really slim because I source from estate sales and thrift shops. And so, I find what I find when I find it. And, it's just one of those things that it's hard to restock on. So feature number 2 for me also does not seem to be something that would benefit me very much. And again, that's just because I sell vintage and mainly one of a kind items. Now, if you're hand making everything that you're selling and you can make more of an item once it runs out, that could be a positive for you because then you could still make the listing available somehow. I'm assuming it could somehow be made available and then people can be notified once it's back in stock. Okay, the next feature is custom packaging and promotional materials. This one reminds me so much of eBay because in there, when you have one of their upgraded shops, you do get discounts on packaging and certain other things. And so when I saw this, I thought, oh my goodness, this really sounds like eBay. And it's so funny because I feel like, okay, I'm going to be doing double time the same thing on eBay and Etsy if I were to upgrade on Etsy. eBay, I do plan to have one of the paid paid shops. Anyway, that's a whole different story. All right, so custom packaging and promotional materials. So you will get, as a subscriber to Etsy Plus or Etsy Premium, discounts from Etsy's partners on packaging and promotional materials. Without seeing what these packaging and promotional materials are, I'm not very moved to say I will pay to upgrade to one of those plans because I get pretty good deals on my packaging. And again, I sell a lot of vintage crafting supplies, and the people who buy them, aren't really buying them as gifts for anyone else or what have you. So just having good standard, decent packaging has worked for me. So I've never felt the need to customize my packaging. So for me, that's not a huge incentive to upgrade. And then the last feature for Plus is custom web address. So you will get a discount on a custom URL that redirects to your Etsy shop. This is something that many sellers are already doing. You can buy a custom domain name from from a number of different domain registrars, and then in your cPanel, you can just redirect your Etsy shop to point to that domain name, then put that nice domain name .com or .shop, .store or whatever on a business card and give that out. So again, for me, this is not a huge incentive for me to pay to upgrade to the Plus. Let's see. So again, if you don't have a custom domain yet, this might be appealing to you because it might be something that maybe you've been considering, and so getting a discount on that might be helpful for you. Then the other features are all unique to Etsy Premium, and not much information or detail about those, but they include advanced management tools, and these are geared towards sellers who run their businesses with employees. For me, that would not be me. I'm a one-person team, so that would be more than I would need. Then there's premium support, so you get a faster response when you contact the Etsy team. That would be nice, but I'm not disappointed with the current support I get from Etsy now. So I don't know if that will change if you're not paying, but if you are a premium subscriber, you'll get premium support. Then new advanced tools. Again, it doesn't say much about what they are other than they're going to be announced in 2019. Oh, okay. And then the listing credits. If you subscribe to the Plus plan, you get 15 listing credits to list or renew items, 15 per month, which comes up to $3 worth of free listing credits. Again, this is another thing that reminded me of eBay, because same thing, you do get some free listing insertion fees when you have paid accounts. You also get 50 free if you're not paying, but that's something else. And then you get, and then for the premium, they haven't yet decided how many listing credits you'll get. And then with Plus, you get $5 per month in promoted listings credit, and you'll also get that with premium, but the dollar amount hasn't been decided. So pricing, Plus is going to be $20 a month starting in January 2019. And then it starts off at $10 a month if you sign up in July. And then the pricing for premium has not been announced yet. Okay, so there is, like I said, an Etsy forum where admin are answering questions, and I was just browsing through them. I'm not going to go through all the questions because there are a lot, as you can imagine. People have a lot of questions and concerns about why Etsy is made this decision. So I'll just go over some of the ones that stood out that you're probably thinking about, like, for instance, what the rationale is for charging a shipping cost. And what the Etsy admin said is that charging for shipping is standard practice in the industry. And also it promotes fairness and transparency in the marketplace so that people don't, and I've seen this happen on other selling platforms, not so much on Etsy, but it might. I haven't seen every listing on Etsy where someone will list an item for a really low price, but then the shipping is ridiculously expensive. And so that's one of the things that they're trying to avoid or trying to prevent by charging a transaction fee on shipping as well. And someone wanted to know if it's to encourage sellers to offer free shipping. I already addressed that. I don't know. The Etsy admin said it really is up to the seller whether or not to do it, but the price comes out the same either way. So then it might be up to you to make a decision about whether psychologically you think your buyers will be more willing to pay if they see free shipping as opposed to having to pay for shipping. Then someone asked if the 5% on shipping applies to those who don't use Etsy labels, and the answer is yes. Whether you use Etsy shipping labels or something else, you will get charged the 5% on whatever amount you charge for shipping. Let's see what else stood out to me. There was another one that stood out to me. I'm just going to find it right now. There are a couple of sellers in the forums asked for specific examples using real numbers, and so those are very useful to look at because that was how I calculated it out for myself, just to see what the impact of this increase in the transaction fees will be. And so it might help you to look at those examples, and the admin, verified that they were doing the math correctly, or they did the math for them just so they could see that. Anyway, so that's a summary of what's going on. I should mention that part of the reason Etsy said they're increasing the fees is because they're going to be putting more effort into bringing more buyers to Etsy. So, I'm guessing that some of the increased revenue that they're going to be collecting will be going to advertising campaigns or whatever it costs to bring more buyers onto Etsy, and hopefully into your shop and mine, and increase our sales. So that's pretty much the announcement. Again, you can read about it right on Etsy. Go to the forums. I'm pretty sure that the questions that are going through your heads are probably similar to the ones that people are asking on there, and so you might get answers to your questions. You can go to convome.com and click on the contact tab if you want to send me a message, and I will be back with a regular episode next week.